Member for Wannon.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I rise also to speak on this thesis of Dr Lee's, and quite a thesis it is. I just hope that the one that got him his doctorate had a little bit more substance to it than this one. He talks about the key issue being whether we want the discussion, the economic discussion, to be about fact or fiction. And my view of this thesis of a motion is that really it is Dr Lee's motion of no confidence in the Treasurer. It's saying that the Treasurer's record cannot stand on its own. Therefore, what we need to do is we need all the members of the Labor Party to stand up and hail the Treasurer for what a wonderful job that he's done. Whereas they all know, and they see it in question time every day, that this Treasurer has no credibility whatsoever. He can take credit for nothing because he has done nothing of substance as a Treasurer to any way to improve the productivity of this nation. So this no confidence motion in the Treasurer set out in this thesis by Dr Lee has no substance to it. But let us look at what is fact. Let's look at the fact that the Labor Party will not call the carbon tax for what it is, a tax, that it always says carbon price. Yet the Prime Minister, under duress, admitted that it was a carbon tax, but now everything that goes out, we can't dare utter the name carbon tax, it has to be carbon price. Well, let's get a bit of fact. Let the Labor government in the chamber tomorrow come out and use the word carbon tax. Call it for what it is. Let's see a bit of fact. And let's see them also detail the real impact that it's going to have on the Australian community. I don't think that Dr Lee or the others who we've heard from today will dare do that. The memo has gone out to the Labor Party. You cannot use the term carbon tax. Even though the Prime Minister admitted that's what it is, we have to use carbon price. And not only do we have to use carbon price, we will then use bribes to try and overcome the detrimental impact that it's going to have on the Australian people. And we'll use those bribes and market them under this hashtag, Cash for You. And I must commend the member for Mayo for the wonderful press release that he put out last week on this Cash for You hashtag, where he demonstrated magnificently what it was all about, that it is cash being taken from future generations of Australians to bribe current Australians to try and forget about the impact that this carbon tax will have on them. He referred to it being very similar to an African Ponzi scheme that we get emails on the whole time trying to rip off the Australian public. It was extremely apt and hit the nail on the head when it comes to fact versus fiction with this government. We also have other examples. Let's look at the budget surplus. The budget surplus which the Treasurer has said, in fact, that he will deliver. Well, why then, on the nation's credit card, did he sneak through a rise from $250 billion to $300 billion? And why, when we sought to amend to make this clear in the budget papers, he would have nothing of it? We wanted to get the fact in that even though he was budgeting for a surplus, he wanted a $50 billion extension on the nation's credit card. Would he allow that fact to be revealed in the budget papers clearly? No, he would not. Let's look at cost of living. I don't see any mention of cost of living in Dr Lee's thesis before us. Since this government came to power, electricity 65.7% increase, water and sewerage 59.1%, utilities 58%, gas 38.7%, insurance 33.4%, education 31.1%, medical and hospital services 28.8%, rents 25.8%. The list goes on, and I haven't even got to childcare. The government has done nothing to address these cost of living issues, and they're about to make it worse when it introduces the carbon tax on 1 July. We on this side are happy to talk about facts. till we get to the next election and we can get rid of this incompetent Labor government.
Here.